Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives, or any other combinations of business partnerships. As well as speaking with other couples, we will also let you know of any useful business apps or websites out there that we've discovered to help you with your business.
We're your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business and Networking and Business Support Community. We host online and face-to-face events and we'd love to meet you, so why not come along? The link to book is in the show notes. Today's guests are Rachel and Ciaran Mc Kenna from Woodhazel Consulting, helping individuals and businesses to sell and market the best of who they are. A husband and wife team based in Dublin, Ireland, and they work with clients online and face-to-face. They're experts in marketing and sales management, bringing their experience from the corporate world as well as life in general. So without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. Welcome to our In Business Talks 2. Today we have with us Rachel and Cairan of Woodhazel Consulting. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Yes, it's lovely to meet you.
All the way from Ireland, I believe, as well.
Yes.
Yes. Would you believe if we told you it was sunny and beautiful and 30 degrees?
No.
No.
It's just stopped raining.
It's just stopped raining. But
Sounds
as they
the same
say
sort of
over here,
weather.
it's beautifully fresh.
Before we start asking our questions, I suppose we should ask, can you tell us a little bit about what you both do?
Yes, and thank you very much for the opportunity, Tracy and Ian. My name's Ciaran Mc Kenna, and this is Rachel, my wife, and we are Woodhazel Consulting, and our main mission in life is to give people confidence and comfort in selling and promoting themselves and being the best of themselves in business and in life. And we do it through coaching, mentoring, training, but more importantly, being people, which is this consulting bit, where if they need help or whatever they need, we're there for them. And we've been around a few years, so a lot of it is mentoring, really, because people actually just like to know they have someone in their corner.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think we come across a lot of people who are really, you say the word selling or sales, and the reaction is, yuck, I don't do it, or I hate it, or it's just not for me. So they're immediately a group of people that we kind of hone in on because we believe everybody can sell. It's a case of finding the approach that works for you because what you're thinking about is not the approach right for you. So for us, it's very much about getting you to feel comfortable to be the best of who you are. Because as you know, what makes you different, particularly if you're running a small business, is you. So therefore you need to get comfortable bringing yourself to the front. And a lot of that sometimes, this is where the sales and marketing overlap, is that sometimes they think they have a sales problem, but actually their positioning or their marketing messaging or even their branding isn't quite flowing right for them. So for us, it's about getting them, you almost have to sell to yourself first and get comfortable with that. And then that's where things like networking are amazing, but we'll probably lead on to that in a little while. Because that's where you can actually go out and experiment and try things out and get comfortable in conversation. So we're all about that as well, getting people just having real conversation. You don't have to be this mega perfect, amazing person. You just show up as you. And if you can just be the true you, that's good enough. And that's kind of helps. So they're kind of what we call a reluctant salesperson. And then there's the whiz kids who are amazing at selling. But for them, it's all more about being resilient because as we know, it can be a tough journey as well. You get yourself along the way. And you have to maintain that energy and enthusiasm. And then obviously if you're doing brilliantly and you have all these clients coming on, your processes and structures may need to change. So sometimes it's the case of how do you manage that? And how do you make sure you're focusing? You start to move from, I'm just getting out there and giving it a go to actually, I want to turn this into a profitable business.
Or
so
how do I get people around me who mightn't be the same as me, and how do I motivate them? And so sales and marketing management is what our background is, and it's what we love. And so it's a little bit of what people are looking to do, and it depends on the business. So we go from corporate clients right through to people where it's just themselves and they want a bit of confidence, and that's the bit we love, and it's a job we've chosen to do rather than it's one we, as you know yourselves, being a couple in business, it's a little bit different. So we try
when
to
you enjoy.
Yeah, and we promote the fact that we're a couple. We've been together for 37 years now.
Yeah.
So that's part of it as well, and we don't shy away from the fact that we are a couple and we're very different, and that's part of the benefit as well.
Yeah,
believe it or not, Rachel is slightly quieter than I am.
So it sounds like a bit of an all-round service that you provide.
Yeah, sounds like the perfect match. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's really where it sits. We wouldn't last long in some of the networking groups if we were on our minute there now, but we
you can always
sign it.
As you say, you can always cut things if you have to. If it's too long.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, that's fine. That's
our online meetings. We have a sign that says "time up" when your 30 seconds is up. But
it's amazing how many people don't understand the concept of 30 seconds.
But we didn't ask you that, so that's fine. That's absolutely
that's one
fine.
of the things that when people come to Ireland, they have to realise that actually
it doesn't exist.
We do, and so therefore our versions of it will always be that way.
That's fine. That's
fine.
Absolutely
cool.
fine. Yes.
Okay, so do you want to ask the first question? Go on.
Yeah, just how long have you been in the business together, or did one of you start it first? I don't.
Yeah, how did it begin?
I suppose it was Cairan that actually started. We're both from, I was working in financial services right up to 2017 when I was made redundant, and then moved into kind of more contracting consultancy work. You'd already set up your business, the Woodhazel Consulting, really to kind of help around the sales and running small businesses.
And I had franchises and things like that, and so that was very much where the consulting was. And at the same time, we were both thinking about the bits we loved and what we really liked to do. So when Rachel got made redundant, she took the opportunity to take a contract.
Yeah, initially I thought it was more just it was a lovely opportunity to move away from the politics of the corporate world, and I actually just wanted to do a project, come in and do a project, but funny enough, I seemed to kept being pulled back to companies that I worked for. So very quickly you kind of blend back in as if you're full time, and I suddenly realised actually no, that's not quite what I wanted. So then I think it was around 2021, 22. It was actually the middle of COVID. I just said, look, if we're not going to do it now and just kind of go all out and really get into what we wanted to do, which is what we're passionate about, which is all this thing about bringing our experience to help others to kind of bring the best out in themselves. So that's around 2021 then. We both came out and sort of went full time into the business and focused on the coaching and the mentoring and the training. So so that's really kind of, so it was kind of a bit of a journey that we kind of, from the consulting to contracting, then more into kind of just both of us full time in the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you find, it sounds like you mentioned there that during COVID, you sort of got together with the actual, really started the business. Did that then have an impact? I mean, was it at the beginning of COVID or was it during COVID? How did that affect your business?
Well, interestingly enough, I had been one of these people that had never done a Zoom call, and then COVID happened, and I was actually in a networking group, and we went from being face to face to suddenly the next week I was the business of the week. And I'd never done a Zoom call, and that networking group actually were very proactive, and they did. So I suddenly realised, actually, hold on a minute, having enjoyed the experience and done my 10 minutes, and it was actually a very great experience. What am I doing here? This is an opportunity for me to potentially work with people online and actually to be able to use, because we had lived and worked in the UK for 18 years. And we thought when we said goodbye in 2005 that was it. But actually, that kind of made me think, well, actually, maybe we can do online versions of what we had been trying to do face to face. So you're 100% right, Ian. COVID was actually a really good positive because it got us thinking about how do we transfer face to face experience through to online, you know.
Where's your furthest away client?
In the UK.
Oh, in the UK. That's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Because again, we actually decided to restrict it purely because we wanted to deal with markets we understood.
Yes.
And so having lived and worked in the UK from 88 right through to 2005, and having been in Ireland from 2005 to today, we thought, well, let's work with people and the markets that we know and understand. And rather than trying to do Europe or the States or things like that, let's focus on what we can do. So, but we definitely use the online version purely because it's there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, brilliant.
A bit like us, really, wasn't it? We were face to face before COVID, and for the networking, and all of a sudden it just went online, and it worked, and it kept our business going, didn't it?
Yeah. We adapted. Obviously, you have to adapt.
Blended now as well, is it?
Is what? Sorry.
Is yours blended between face to face and online?
Yeah, we do both now. So it's something we probably would never have done had COVID not happened. So it was it wasn't a blessing, obviously, but it was an opportunity, wasn't it?
But it is surprising how many businesses did benefit. Sounds the wrong word, but did benefit from COVID. How many businesses we know, it's changed how they work,
how they think.
It's changed their business for the better. So I know it was very bad and not very nice, but I think there are some positives that have actually come out of it from the business community.
And the other thing is it made people think about who and who they want to deal with, but also how they deal with them. And actually, as you've probably found, you're about 5 or 6 times more efficient because we can do these meetings and be finished in an hour. But when we were doing these, well, we'd had to fly to meet you first of all.
But
the other thing, the amount of time we were spending in the car or listening to radio stuck in traffic, whereas now we can actually be having the meetings and actually very focused meetings and very good meetings. And there's still a great place for face-to-face as well, isn't there? And the atmosphere and the feeling of it. But it's a pretty good close substitute.
It is.
And the other thing we love about online as well is there's no hiding place. It's just down the camera.
It's focused, isn't it?
It is.
And so when you're asking the questions, because we do like to work with people in small teams or individually, so therefore online actually works really well in that because you're looking down the camera and you're saying like, look.
You can't hide.
What's your general? Do you have a shared vision for the business then? Where is it you want to take it? Do you want to turn into a big organisation, or is it a lifestyle business? What is the goal?
For us, no, we don't want to turn it into a big corporate. It's an opportunity for us to focus in on what we both really love doing, which is that, so we want to get, obviously to grow it, to kind of reach as many people as we can to support people. But we, like both of us, really love doing the people interaction and the coaching and the mentoring. So, there's certain elements of the business, as we all know, all the hats we wear, quite comfortable just to kind of get rid of those. But the core element of what we're here to do is what we're all about. And so I suppose one of our big visions is that, the age we're at is that we were trying to think, again, if you get the privilege of doing something you really enjoy doing, you should never have to retire, or at least you should always have the opportunity to keep going as long as possible. So I suppose that's one of our longer term visions. Coming from a corporate, fast-paced, stressful job, I knew there was a point where I go, I don't know if I could keep that going right into my 60s, 70s, whereas doing something that you love, and there's nobody is going to tell me that I can't do this as long as I feel like I'm giving something back.
It's not a job, is it? If you're doing something you love, it's not a job, is it? It's a passion, isn't it? It's something you enjoy.
That's it.
We're the same. We feel like we could carry on, don't we?
We're the same. We believe that why retire? We don't want to retire, do we?
Not completely.
Not completely.
No,
but the idea is we just it's a lifestyle, isn't it? It builds something that's nice
to...
that you enjoy doing. We enjoy meeting people and chatting with lovely people.
Exactly, yeah, similar to you. Yeah, and it's the sort of thing that I think we can grow or kind of pull back. We have the luxury of making it as flexible and have as we want it, so we can take clients on to work around all the other things we want to do as well.
Yeah, yeah. And what about your roles within the business? How did you decide who was going to do what, or did it come naturally?
It didn't come naturally, funnily enough.
Because
we've been together as a couple for, as I say, since 1987. So we'd never worked together for all the years we'd been together, and we'd been through thick and thin, and we fantastic. But we hadn't actually worked together, even though we were in the business. And Rachel was a director. She was still a consultant, and she was still working contracts. So actually, it took a little bit of getting used to, didn't it?
Oh yeah, like I freely admit, when I initially was in the business, my head wasn't really in the business. I was off doing the doing, if you know what I mean. And you were running the business because you'd set it up. And so when I came in full time, I suppose there was an element of I was kind of picking up the bits I liked to do, and I felt were my strengths. But then, realistically, as we all know, you have to share it, and you have to, because they're thankfully we do complement each other really well, and we do on our skill, and we've worked that out really quickly. Well, we kind of knew that, but there are elements of the role where both of us ideally would prefer the other to do. So we do tend to share those, and again, I suppose we do work together when we're working with clients. Sometimes we do work together, or we do our own clients as well. So we do mix it. So we do kind of try and mix where we can. But I suppose where you're really good is kind of the really blue sky sort of stuff. Cairan's really good at that. Whereas I'd be more of the finisher and making sure it's, kind of the marketing.
She's a proofreader as well, and so I'll come up with all these great ideas, and then she'll go, I think there's a comma missing there.
Stop. A bit like me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know your pain there, Ciaran. I'm the same. I'm a bit of the blue sky, and you're the bit of the
detail person,
aren't you? Yeah.
Detail.
Yeah.
Because it complements. It works well.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, and the thing that neither of us like doing is the thing that you love doing the best is sales. And I'll try and push it onto him, and he'll try and push it back onto me, and then in the end, neither of us ends up doing it.
No, we're rubbish at sales.
Why don't you like selling?
Oh, because you feel like you're selling yourself, don't you? You feel like
isn't that good? Here we are chatting away, and actually, it's just a conversation, isn't it? And
it is.
That's all selling is.
Yeah. Do you know, I think it's, I know digressing a bit, but I think the funny thing is, where I used to, when I was in corporate, I did actually used to sell. Now, it wasn't a problem if people rejected me then. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If they know, I thought, okay, fine. But now, because it's this, if I try and go into sell mode, I feel if people, in a nice way, say no or don't, I feel it's like a personal. I know I shouldn't, but it feels like it's personal because I think it's personal, now my business. Yeah, I think, yeah. So it's different. But like I say, when I was detached, and I thought, okay, you don't want to buy this product, fine, move on, next one. But I can't. I find it I do find it more difficult now because it's our business.
I think it's personal.
We passionately believe that actually the word no is just a word, and sometimes a lot of it is timing, because if you're saying something that's offensive or rude, that's a different thing. But if actually you're just being your best, a lot of the time it might be that actually today's not right, but actually in November, because we will actually have more money in November, because ours is they'd say it's quite a seasonal business. We go, okay, so I've learned that actually I need to be speaking to you then. So it's about having the conversation, but listening. And realizing that actually, do you know what? It's not worth taking it personally, because you will get, sometimes the best thing you'll get is feedback, because they'll go, I would have bought, here's but. And in the conversation, and the fact that you care is the best thing, because actually it's passionate. Your previous example was the fact that, well, do you know what? If you buy that product, great.
Yeah.
But if you don't. Whereas this one you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But we passionately tell people, it's okay not to win every order, because sometimes there's good ones to lose, or referrals or whatever. You should always just change the thing just to be whatever is going to be a substitute to getting an order. It might just be that they go, well, actually, we know Alan, or we know Stephanie, or we know that, and actually they might be better for you.
Yeah.
So have you found that being in business has strengthened your relationship, or has it changed in any way?
I think it's definitely strengthened, because we've learned new things about ourselves, because as I say, we never worked in business, and I suppose it's another test as to the strength of your relationship, because you are working much more closely with each other. Like, although I have to say, I never had any qualms that it would work, because, you know, I do find it quite funny when, and you probably get the same thing, oh, I'd never work with my husband, or the usual. And you're kind of going, well, actually, you always want to work with somebody who you're going to trust, who's going to have your back, and who's going to, and we complement each other so well. So when I was starting out, for example, networking was kind of new to me. Obviously I'd done it in the corporate world, but actually this sort of talking to business owners about your business and things like that was completely new, whereas Cairan was used to doing it. And it was so nice to have somebody who kind of got that it wasn't my area of comfort, but rather than making me feel, you know, uncomfortable and kind of knocking my confidence and sort of saying, oh, come on, you can just do it. He knew how to get the best out of me to make me just get on and do it, sort of thing. So I think that's being able to read each other is something that I suppose that's really come to the front in business now, that I suppose you knew it was there before, but actually I think in business you really recognize it, or it really comes out.
Yeah. Brings it to the fore, doesn't it? I think probably.
Yeah, and then we pick and choose some of the bits, and we realise that actually I mightn't be the greatest fit with those people, or Rachel would be better, or, you know, they love your blue sky there, Ciaran. That'll be absolutely spot on.
You sort of play to your strengths, don't you, in a way?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and I think that is the joy when you know each other so well. You know what strengths. Even, you know, and the hidden strengths there as well, the subtle strengths that, you know, you can tap into.
Yeah. And guys, do you agree on everything?
No. But I think that's healthy, because I think in business you can't, you know, like, I don't think I've ever worked with anybody where I've agreed with them fully. But I think what we do is that you can disagree and hear each other and kind of respect each other's, you know, opinions.
What we always agree on is the common approach, from the point of view that, you know, the background our courses come from, they're always based around philosophy and what people believe. And we passionately believe that people should meet. And so we do actually like to have a discussion and to say, right, what do you think about this? And eventually we'll come to a conclusion, and then we're passionate because we go, right, we do agree on this.
I think we agree on the key things, like,
which
is
important, isn't it?
I think that's it. And I think we, you know, data, you know, there's always going to be little niggles along the way that, you know.
But having a sense of humour about it as well is absolutely key. And actually, the other thing, and again, it was my mother who said it about marriage, and she always says, never go to bed on a disagreement. And she, my parents were married for, well, years.
Forever.
The long since passed, but they actually passionately believe in that. They never, ever, I don't ever remember them openly disagreeing, but they always said that whenever they'd had a discussion, that was it. They went to sleep making sure that they were still friends.
Yeah, I think even for any sort of couple, you know, whether they're not necessarily married, just business, you know, you're in a small business, if there are little niggles, you just have to get them aired as early as possible, because you're so reliant on each other. And a happy place, and both of you working and striving to do the best, I think is what you want. So if there's little niggles along the way, which thankfully we don't find, we might have a disagreement on, I don't know, what would we disagree on? I'm trying to think of something. It's probably kind of maybe the priorities or something, kind of,
something quite small,
And Ciaran's going, no, we need to focus on sales today, and so we mightn't be aligned on that. again, even kind of nailing that quite quickly is kind of, so we're all about kind of, if there's something, get it out there, get it sorted, move on. Because we haven't got time really.
And having spoken to other couples in business, we've always been of the opinion that actually we do try our best to make sure that unless we have a client, which some clients we might have where it might suit them better for an hour in the evening or something like that, but we do try to make sure that we have our own time after 7, and we do work at weekends, and we admit that, but that gives us benefit then to be able to have time during the week and things like that. And that's the benefit of working for yourselves as well. Yeah. You're not stuck with the corporate hours. You work around the hours that actually work for us.
Yeah, that was one of my questions actually. Do you tend to find, we more or less answered that one. The question we ask is, do you tend to find that you've got a rule where you get to 5 o'clock or something and say, that's it now, we're not going to talk about work anymore? Or are you a bit like we are, but if something pops into your head, you just can't help yourself, you just talk about it basically?
Get the post-it note out.
Yeah, we do try. We do best to try and say around 7, 8 o'clock at a stretch, to sort of say, okay, let's try and park things, because we learned that quite early on that Cairan, as I say, is a blue sky, and he'd come up with this amazing idea, maybe just when we're going to bed at around 11 o'clock at night time. And then I'm awake half the night kind of working it through. So we kind of realised that actually if somebody has a really good idea that we know the other is going to spark the other one thinking,
write it down.
We write it down to bring it up the next morning.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, but we do.
We should do that.
We should do that. Yeah.
It's kind of, because that's the way my head would work, because I'm straight into implementation and solution mode. And then equally, but we do read our development books and things in the evening as well. So, that Cairan's he's dreadful for sort of saying, he's reading, but, oh, this is really good. What do you think of this? And I'm kind of going, hang on a minute, I'm reading this over here. So, so when I say we switch off kind of, I suppose, the main business, but that doesn't mean we switch off on our development or that sort of stuff, which I think for all of us, we're always trying to keep finding every opportunity to tap into.
And the other thing as well is actually if you are passionate about what you do, is time a constraint? No. So we kind of we do what's best for each situation. But the one thing we try and do is to try and make sure that we have our own time, and that we have time that is devoted to just family and just and we are, and especially since COVID, we are very strong about watching things that make us laugh and actually humor. Because if you watch the news today,
there's no humor in the news, is there? No.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So what do you think the worst thing about being in business together is?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. I actually think I can't think the worst thing. I suppose the worst thing at times is that other people don't really get it.
Yes.
I suppose there's an element of that. When I do meet up with my ex-colleagues, they're just kind of going, so when are you coming back? Have you had enough yet? So that I think it's probably that people don't always get how. But we do genuinely enjoy it.
And sometimes if you're out with other people, sometimes you can have too many in-jokes as well, and you suddenly realize, well, actually, hold on a minute, the work is just us. So.
Yeah. I've got a question for you guys. Rich, I'm going to do you first. I think I'll ask you first, Rachel. It's the same question to both, but Rachel, you get to go first. What is Cairan's most annoying habit at work? Notice I said at work, Rachel.
Oh yeah, I know. And if you haven't picked it up by now, Cairan talks at a mile a minute because his brain is working overtime. So, and as I alluded to earlier, he's a real blue sky person. So when we're talking about ideas, he starts talking about the idea, but he's already onto the second one before he's finished the first one. And so the conversation, I'm kind of going, is that already? Yeah, it's best. Yeah. So I sometimes I kind of have to go, hang on a minute, which one are we talking about?
yeah. You're trying to catch up.
Yeah, so that when we're doing kind of that kind of planning and blue sky type stuff, and you are brilliant at coming up with ideas, you kind of go, hang on a minute, can we just do this now? And I'm kind of going, no, can we park that because we need to focus here? So, but it's an amazing strength, especially as it complements me that needs to is less about that.
So come on, Cairan, you've got your turn now. What's Rachel's worst habit at work?
Well, actually, and it's not a way, because, and I'm genuinely saying that she genuinely doesn't have a weakness. You know, when you do these little tests, no, but it's true. When you do these testing, you know, whether you're red, blue, green, and all these different things, I will always come out at the polar end, you know, so full of ideas and full of enthusiasm and all the things. And some of the things I'll score low, whereas Rachel scores really well in the mid. And so she actually is pretty good at everything, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. I'm kind of, I'm fairly balanced. I think that's it. So therefore, I'm never extreme on the real creative force. That's why it's kind of.
But she does like things to finish. So she is a finisher, and so that sometimes will wander over into saying, "Now hold on a minute, Ciaran. You do need to get the comma right, and you do need to get the and the different bits." But it's not irritating because it's actually making it right and making it better. And I actually like that. But sometimes it's reining me in.
Yeah. So have you got a memorable moment from your journey together?
Yeah, a big wow moment. We think, oh, that worked really well, or something outstanding. That.
Well, is this since in the business? Since we
yeah.
Well, actually, the best wow moments are always when the customers are giving you reviews, and we passionately believe in that, and referrals. And so we had an example last week where a guy sat with us and he said, you know what, I've only known you for 8 weeks and it's made a massive difference because we clarified where he was and what he wanted to do. And he got quite emotional about it, and we thought, wow.
Yeah, I have to say it is all about the clients. Like, I suppose when I'm just even thinking back to the first time we did an in-person training session after COVID, and it was actually quite a special moment because we'd done so much online that we'd almost forgotten whether it still worked in person. And we actually did it in our house because part of what we tried to do is kind of get people just feeling really relaxed.
Small teams.
A bit like what you're doing here. It's all about just kind of small teams and just relax. So we did it in our house, and it was just so
it's great atmosphere,
enjoyable. The guys all got great fun. So that was kind of a bit of an aha for us that, this is really what gets us excited.
As one of them said, they were sorry it was ended because we had broken it down into four separate mornings rather than just trying to do something in one day or stuff like. We said, no, go away, try this and these bits and bobs. And they actually love coming.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? If they
when they're looking forward to it.
You look forward to something, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, and they were coming from different parts of Ireland. So it wasn't easy for them to get to our place because Dublin, as anyone that's been there will realise, the traffic is pretty horrendous. But they actually, they all arrived early and they all left late because they were enjoying it so much. And that says it all, really, isn't it?
So what do you think sets your business apart then from others who do the sort of things that you do? What's the difference, do you think?
I think we like to think that it is that we are very down to earth. You know, we do, and we don't hide away from the fact. I suppose when I started, I was came from a corporate background, and initially I probably felt I had to have this corporate sort of feel to it, realizing that really wasn't me. So we kind of just strip it right back to, look, this is us, take us as we are. And we talk very straight talking, very, and really, really try and meet the person as them.
Yeah.
So we recognize there's loads of amazing training courses out there and loads of great coaches and stuff like that. But I suppose our years of mentoring as well, a lot of experiences, we can kind of bring that. So our age is an advantage. We play to that because we, rough life, we've experienced life, and I think that can actually help people as well to know that there are other people who have overcome situations, which helps as well.
Yeah, and because of the very things that we've been discussing, we cover quite a lot of bases then. And so actually, if people are having issues and things like that, we feel we've got the experience, but also we've got the different personalities and the different outlooks that actually will give them a good opportunity to be able to talk those through, you know. And that's if people are working with both of us. But even if people are working with us individually, it's still, the specifics can still be beneficial, because we have a lot to offer. And if there's something that I think might benefit them to have a session or two with Rachel, then I'll go to them and I'll say, look, what do you think? And they go, yeah, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So it's being able to tick a few boxes, but actually, it exactly as you were talking about selling there, Ian, it's the enthusiasm and actually wanting to help. And you know, in these cynical times, I think people actually like that.
Yeah.
I think it's also our different personalities, and I think we don't shy away from the fact, like, for example, I will quite openly, in a big group scenario, I'll notice a quiet person in the group because I would have been that quiet person. So I will immediately talk to that person almost within the group, if you know what I mean, and give them immediately a few tips to get them to feel more, exactly how you guys do it. You do it so wonderfully in your networking at the beginning. I think it's lovely the way you do it. You kind of just, you get people to feel comfortable. And even the fact, I love the fact that you kind of get people to talk when they're ready to talk. I just think that's really what we try and do as well, is just take that fear and meet people where they're at, because everybody is slightly different. We all have hang-ups. We all have things that we want to overcome, and one size doesn't fit everybody. So it's recognizing that.
If you could turn the clock back, would you change anything when you started the business? Is there anything you would change? So if you went back 4 or 5 years before COVID, when you just start sort of full time together, is there anything with hindsight you might change or not?
Well, I suppose we are where we are now from all the learning. You know, we've adapted and we've changed our structure a few times, but then that's part of the learning and the experience that we've come through. So knowing what I know now, if I knew what I knew, but I didn't know that then.
Yeah, no, true.
So in some ways, we had to go through our journey to be where we are, and I think we're in a much stronger place now because of that. We know what we know now, and it's almost what we encourage other people to do. We believe that when you start a business, there is a period of experimentation, because you don't really know. You have it all, as much as you do all the strategy and all the planning and all that. It's that, and let's be honest, the world out there with COVID and things like that, it just shake the dynamics a little bit. So you do have to just kind of go with a little bit. So I think it's even having that bravery just to keep going. And
there's a great deal to be said for actually experiencing it and living it and actually appreciating it. And to do that takes time. And these massive changes, we passionately believe a lot of them are small changes and things. And if you want something to be good, to become a good positive habit, you have to work on it. So part of it, that then comes with time. And so, no, I kind of think we don't get too worked up about how bad or how good things are going to be in the future. And we certainly don't believe we should be beating ourselves up for things that we can't do anything about because it's done.
Yeah. Agree.
So we go with, we're grateful for what we've got, and we get a lot of learnings. And with those learnings, what are we going to do differently? And so our thing is all about actually learning from the past, having lived it, enjoy, make the most of it, and that should hopefully a fair wind make the difference. And we've always agreed on that.
Yeah, we have.
So what tips or advice would you give someone thinking of going into business with their husband, wife, partner, sister, friend, whatever? What advice would you give them?
I think open conversation and having, I suppose, being very clear about why you're going into business together.
Yeah.
And having a clear understanding of how you will work together. You know, like, why will you work well together? And a lot of it is kind of that you have that same vision or goal or purpose. I know everybody says that, but it is so true. You need to be aligned. You need to kind of, and if you're not, how do you get aligned? Because I just don't think if you're pulling it different ways, it's not going to work. So to me, I think conversation and communication helps as well.
Listening to what they are saying, and not sometimes he can, and you have to be comfortable with silence sometimes, and wait for them to actually say what's on their mind, and so we call it real questions and real listening, which is where you actually really are in the zone, and you're going, no, why is that, and build it out, and is there anything else, and eventually you get to where it is. And I think most people in their guts know, but you do actually have to have the conversations and keep them going.
I think you have to have a laugh as well. I think you have to enjoy it, because you are spending a lot of time together. So you do need to enjoy the company as well, because it's when it's because there are days where you need to pick each other up, so you do need. I do think your energy needs to work off each other. Buzz. There needs to be a common kind of buzz.
And I suppose the other thing is, be very comfortable to get opinion, and actually ask other people, not just the two of you, in particular if you're a couple, to ask your family and friends and people you trust, or people who you've had experience with in the past, and go out and have listenings from them and other couples like yourself who are in the same position, and so some of that is actually just, not just leaving it between the two of us, but actually having outside opinion, and get good accountants, get good.
I think it's understanding where your strengths are as well. Ideally, if you complement each other, is very important. You're just because you have a good laugh down at the pub with your mate doesn't necessarily make you a good work.
Compatible.
You do need to know what skills you need to run a business. So ideally, you need to know who's good at those skills, or where and as Ciaran says, if those skills aren't there, how are you going to find them? And that's where your networking and stuff can be really helpful.
And hence where networking really works. Some of the best people you meet in networking are not necessarily people who give you business, but they'll be people who will enhance your business, because they're very good on LinkedIn, or they're very good at brand, or and they will be people who will actually make you look better. And a good HR person. There's so many different strands. But the great thing is, you're not on your own, and yes, it might just be a solopreneur, or it might just be that you're coupled and you're going into business. But just think about who else could complement and work really well as part of that business, and that's networking is. That's the other thing I would say is it's a constant thing, isn't it? When you meet people, you can't switch off. It's part of it, and you think about, even socially when you're out, that's a network, isn't it? It's
definitely. You're networking all the time, basically, aren't you? Without realising it, you're constantly networking.
Because it's not got the label networking on it. Doesn't mean to say, where was I the other day? And I ended up giving my business card out. Oh, that was it. Yeah, I had some guy clearing some rubbish away. I had a load of garden waste, and he came with his truck and two guys, and they were loading the rubbish onto the van, and we were talking, and I ended up giving him a business card because he said that a friend of his had a cleaning company who liked to go networking. There you go.
Brilliant. Oh yeah.
It's surprising what you can learn as well, that sparks ideas just from a conversation with someone else. It might be unrelated, but something, oh, hang on, I've had an idea because of that conversation. I think it's an amazing thing sometimes. It's just the power of a conversation with someone who's,
big time,
doesn't necessarily do what you do.
Yeah.
And that's why we always say to people as well, if you've done a good job, don't hide your light under a bushel about it. Ask the customer for a review. Yeah, we always say review because it's a much nicer word than testimonial, isn't it?
Yeah.
People are more used to it.
A bit harsh, doesn't it? Now you mention it.
But don't be afraid, and because they can be your best salespeople, and they're the people who actually go, well, actually, we met Tracy and Ian, and they're lovely, and that's they can help you if you're looking for how to network and how things work well, in particular in your area and in your region, you know.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to use your service? What's the best way?
Mine is both on our LinkedIn, and also our website is woodhazel.ie.
Great
Excellent.
stuff. Lovely.
Cool.
Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Really enjoyed chatting to you guys today. Thank you.
We've enjoyed it.
So thank you for if anyone wants to get in touch with you,
we'll put that in the show notes.
And it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Been
Thank you, Tracy.
I really enjoyed it. Thanks
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now we come to our knowledge share of the week. So what do we have as our share this week then, Tracy?
Well, Ian, this week's share is a website and it's called MixKit. It's free assets for your next video project. So lots of little bits of B-roll and just snippets of videos that you can use
to insert into your videos.
Great
It
stuff.
sounds like a great share, that, Tracy.
It is. We'll put it in the show notes. Let us know if you try it and see what you think.
We're almost at the end of this week's show, and just as a reminder before we go, don't forget to book your place at one of our online networking events where you can meet some great business owners and build those all-important business relationships. If you're in the Leeds, Harrogate, York or Wakefield area, then why not come along to one of our face-to-face events and meet us. And remember, the best business comes from the best relationships. The link is in the show notes.
Do you wish you could network with more confidence? We understand the challenges you face, whether you're new to networking or simply looking to improve your skills. Our Networking Know-How course will take you through the process and provide you with practical tips and techniques to help you make more meaningful connections.
We'd also like to mention our books, which are available on Amazon. How to Improve Your Business Networking Skills. That's 52 tips to help you with your networking. And Notably Networking One-to-One Networking Notebook is a place to keep all your notes for those follow-up one-to-ones. And last but not least, our 90 Days to Your Success Journal, where you can plan, set and plot those actions that you will take to achieve your goals.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all that we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. And please follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd really appreciate it.
And so until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together we are in business.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.